Example 3. Here we're going to go ahead and actually look at our ratios, and we're going to compare them using a graph. So the first two we actually were able to compare by making different ratio tables and then comparing once we had something in common. Here, we're going to go ahead and look at our ratios, and we're going to graph them. So in this problem, we have an eagle eats 1 pound of food in 1 day. A crow eats 3 pounds of food in 2 days. Complete the ratio table for each bird, and which bird eats more food is ultimately what we're trying to answer. Okay, so we look at this. Our first ratio that we have is 1 pound of food in 1 day. That's for the eagle. Oops. The second one is the crow, and the crow eats 3 pounds of food in 2 days. So I'm going to go ahead and look at these two ratios and fill out the tables. So we have our eagle here. After 1 day, our eagle will have eaten 1 pound. After 2 days, sorry, I'm not sure what my board is doing right now. After 2 days, my eagle has now eaten 1 pound plus 1 pound. So my eagle has eaten actually 2 pounds of food. So 1 pound for the first day. I'm not sure why it is marking here. 2 pounds for the second day. 3 pounds for the third day. And 4 pounds for the fourth day. My crow, on the other hand, I don't know how many after they ate 1 day, because technically my crow, after 2 days, has eaten a total of 3 pounds. After 4 days, notice the days are different, my crow has actually eaten 6 pounds. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm having some issues with the pen right now. Let's try this again. Blue. Okay. So it's after 4 days, our crow has eaten 6 pounds. After 6 days, our crow has eaten 8 pounds. And after, 9 pounds, because we're eating 3 pounds in 2 days. After 8 days, our crow has eaten 12 pounds. So we're adding 3 every 2 days using our second ratio. Looking at this, to compare which bird eats more food, we have to compare something that's in common. So we can go ahead and we can compare our amount for 2 days. Or we could compare our amount for 4 days, because those ones are the ones they have in common. If I wanted to get to 6 and 8, I would actually have to extend my table for the eagle in order to compare. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. This pen is just not working so well today. And the problem is I keep switching back and forth between the pens, and they both keep doing it. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. Let's try using the other pen again. All right, so if I look at these, I can see that the eagle eats 2 pounds in 2 days, whereas the crow eats 3 pounds in 2 days. The eagle eats 4 pounds in 2 days, and the crow eats 6, which means I can easily determine which bird eats more per day. And in this case, we know that the crow eats more food. So looking at the table, I can determine the crow eats more food. Okay? So I've answered that question, which bird eats more food? Okay? Now I'm going to actually take this information from the tables and graph it. And I want you to look down at your graph. The graph has some labels already done for you. This bottom axis here, which we all should know, hopefully, is our x-axis. So we can put a little x here if we want. Relates to the days. And this vertical axis is our y-axis, and it relates to the pounds eaten. Okay? So you have both of those pieces of information in the table, and we're going to go ahead and graph them. So looking at the eagle's first information in their table is one day they ate 1 pound. Okay, well, days relates to your x, and pounds eaten relates to your y. So the coordinate that matches the first one is 1, 1. For the second point in the table, for the second day, the coordinate is 2, 2. The third day is 3, 3. Again, the x is the first value, the y is the second. And then the fourth one is 4, 4. So this is, if I graph these 4 points, I could go ahead and create a line for the eagle. Okay? So let's go ahead and graph the first point. If we go ahead and graph 1, 1, you're going to start at 0, 0, and go over 1, up 1, put up a dot. If I graph 2, 2, I'm going to go ahead and go over 2, up 2, and put a point. If I graph the third point, 3, 3, I'm going to go over 3, up 3. And if I graph the fourth point, it's 4, 4, over 4, up 4. Remember, I always go over before I go up. And once I have at least 3 points graphed, I can go ahead and actually draw a line to represent that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a straight edge. Unfortunately, because I have the board, I cannot take a straight edge. Okay? And so I'm going to do the best that I can up here on the board, but you have rulers. You can all take a straight edge and draw a line that goes through those points as well as extends through the graph. Okay? And that is my line that represents the eagle. So on the end of the line, I'm going to write eagle. Then I have to go ahead and graph for the crow. So I'm actually going to pick a different color. And again, the days represent the x, the pounds eaten represent the y. So the first ordered pair is going to be 2, 3, where the 2 is the x, the 3 is the y, because all coordinate pairs are written as x, y. The next coordinate pair is 4, 6, 6, 9, all of these are in parentheses, and 8, 12. So those are the 4 coordinate pairs that I have for my crow. Okay? And I'm going to start, again, using my new color. I'm going to start at the origin, go over 2, up 3 for 2, 3, put a dot, over 4, up 6, over 6, up 9, and over 8, up 12. And again, same thing, as long as I have at least 3 points, I'm going to go ahead and take my straight edge, and I'm going to go ahead and graph these lines and extend them through using my straight line. And I'm going to put an arrow on the end, and I'm going to write crow. Okay, so I've graphed my coordinates so that the days are the x value, the pounds eaten are the y value. And then it asks me what I can conclude. I look at the 2 lines, and I notice one line is steeper than the other. It's going up faster. Okay? And this particular graph, the crow is going up faster. So what does that tell you about these 2 birds? Well, since we're relating the days with the pounds eaten, we can determine that because the crow is increasing faster, the crow eats more than the eagle, which is exactly what we learned in the first example with the tables when we compared them. So in this case, our conclusion is going to be the crow eats more than the eagle because the line is steeper. than the eagle. Okay, so we're looking at the different lines and how steep they go. And then you can actually compare. So a graph can tell you a lot of the same information a table can, but you have to be able to know what you're looking at. The steepness of the line is important.